whispers of the Spirit, a morning prayer of surrender and renewal. Good morning, my dear friend. As the first rays of sunlight gently kiss the edge of the horizon, and the quiet hush of dawn still lingers in the air, I invite you to take a breath and be fully present in this sacred moment. The world has not yet demanded your attention. The noise has not yet arrived. It is in this stillness, this precious sliver of time, before the day unfolds, that heaven feels especially near. There is something deeply holy about the early morning. It is as if creation itself pauses and listens. The wind softens. The trees are still. Even the birds wait a little longer before singing. It is here, before the rush of the world begins, that your soul finds space to breathe. Somewhere right now, someone is sitting in silence, not because they chose it, but because they feel utterly alone. Perhaps they just received news that shattered their world. A diagnosis, a betrayal, a loss they did not see coming. Their chest feels tight. Their thoughts spin in circles. They have scrolled through their phone, searching for answers, hoping to stumble upon anything that would anchor them back to peace. But the world's answers are shallow when your soul is drowning. You may be that person today, or perhaps you have simply carried a quiet heaviness, a pressure that never quite lifts. You get up, go through the motions, smile when you have to, but underneath it all is a question you do not dare ask out loud. God, are you still speaking to me? If you have ever wondered whether your prayers still matter, or whether heaven hears the sound of your tears hitting the pillow, then this moment, this sacred morning, is not an accident. You did not just wake up. You were awakened. There is a deeper invitation calling to your spirit today. It is not loud or dramatic. It does not shout over your fear. It does not fight for your attention like the rest of the world. No. It waits. It gently draws near, the way a faithful friend enters a room where grief has silenced everything else. This invitation is to walk not just into a new day, but into the presence of the one who shaped it. Prayer is not just words spoken into the sky. It is a conversation, a meeting place, a holy intersection where your humanity touches divinity. Prayer does not always change our circumstances immediately, but it always changes us. It recalibrates the heart. It steadies the breath. It anchors us when the winds of uncertainty blow strong. You do not need to have perfect faith to begin. You only need a willing heart. Today, I want to invite you on a journey, a quiet unfolding of the soul. This is not a performance. It is not about using the right words or sounding a certain way. It is about honesty. It is about trust. It is about showing up just as you are and allowing God to meet you there. Whether you are standing on the mountaintop of joy or sitting in the valley of shadows, you are not alone. There is power in pausing. There is power in turning down the noise. There is power in choosing to seek His voice before you seek anything else. And this morning, as the sky slowly awakens, so can your spirit. You may not have all the answers. You may not feel strong. But even now, in the quiet corners of your heart, faith can rise. So wherever you are, in your room, on your porch, in a car, or simply sitting with eyes closed, I encourage you to open your heart. Let the Holy Spirit breathe fresh life into dry places. Let hope stretch its wings again. This is not just another morning. This is an invitation to encounter peace, to draw near to the whisper of God, to let His presence mend what feels broken, fill what feels empty, and remind you that you are seen, known, and dearly loved. Let us begin. Dear Heavenly Father, this morning, as the first light stretches across the quiet earth and the shadows of night fade away, I come to you with a heart wide open. I do not bring perfect words or polished thoughts. I bring only myself, just as I am, just as I woke up. I feel the breath in my lungs and the stillness around me. And I know that this moment is not ordinary. This morning is holy, not because of anything I have done, but because you are here. There is something sacred about this stillness. The world has not yet demanded my attention. The noise has not yet crowded my mind. It is just you and me. And in this quiet space, I remember that I am yours. I do not need to earn this breath. I do not need to deserve this day. It is a gift. You, Father, have whispered me into this morning, and I hear that whisper now more clearly than ever. The sky is soft with light, and I feel the weight of yesterday slowly slipping away. I am not who I was yesterday. I am not who I will be tomorrow. I am who I am right now, waking, breathing, hoping, and in this fragile in-between, I lift my heart to you. You see the thoughts I have not spoken. You hear the prayers I am afraid to say out loud. You know the parts of me that feel uncertain, the corners of my soul that are tired from carrying things I cannot name. I bring those places to you now, the places inside me that ache for comfort, for clarity, for peace, the places that are silent because they do not know how to speak. You know them. You formed me. You called this day into being before I opened my eyes. You chose to meet me here, in this exact moment, with your presence so gentle, so real, it quiets the fear before it even begins to speak. Father, I do not ask for a perfect day. I do not ask for everything to go smoothly or for every answer to be clear. I simply ask to be aware of you, aware of how near you are to me. I do not want to rush past this morning. I do not want to miss what you are whispering in the breeze or the warmth of the light touching the edge of my window. Let my heart not be so full of plans that it forgets to pause. Let my soul not be so focused on what needs to be done that it forgets who I am, beloved, chosen, held. You are the one who wakes me with mercy, the one who holds back what I deserve and offers what I never could earn. You are kindness in the cool air. You are peace in the silence. You are the steady hand when my world feels unsteady. And even though I cannot see the hours ahead, I trust the one who made them. I trust you to walk with me through each moment. I trust you to speak, to guide, to cover me in grace. Some mornings, Lord, I wake with a heaviness I cannot explain, a quiet sadness, a slow-moving fear, a fog I cannot shake. But here in this stillness, I feel something stronger rising. I feel the breath of hope, not because of anything I have done, but because you never left. You never pulled away, even in my silence. you remained. Even in my doubt, you stayed close. And this morning, I choose to lean into that closeness. Wrap me in it. Remind me that I am not alone, that the sunrise was not just for beauty, it was for me. A sign that darkness ends. A sign that light returns. A sign that no matter how far I feel from you, you are never far from me. Let that truth soak into every part of me. Let it reach the places that are tired from trying to hold it all together. I do not have to hold everything. You are holding me, so here I am, in the soft hush of the morning, surrendering what I cannot control, surrendering the things I have tried to fix in my own strength. I bring you the pressure, the fear, the questions. I lay them at your feet not because I know what you will do with them, but because I trust you to carry them better than I can. I cannot walk into this day on my own. I was never meant to. Let this quiet be enough. Let this breath be enough. Let this moment, wrapped in your presence, be the beginning of something deeper. I do not ask for fireworks. I ask for steady peace. I ask for a heart that stays soft and a mind that stays focused. I ask for your voice to be louder than the lies. I ask for the grace to begin again. No matter what yesterday held, I know the world will soon wake and the demands will come. But before that rush, before that noise, I choose to rest in you. I choose to begin with you. I choose to believe that this stillness is not empty, it is full of you. Every quiet second is sacred. Every breath is laced with purpose. Every beat of my heart is a reminder that I am alive, and you are with me. So lead me gently. Father, through this day, speak to me in ways I will notice. Guide my steps with the ease of love. Let my eyes stay open to beauty, even in ordinary things. Let my heart remain tender, even in difficult moments. And let me carry this stillness within me, no matter how loud the world becomes. This morning, I do not reach for control. I reach for you. I do not seek certainty. I seek presence. I do not need all the answers. I just need to know that you are near, and I do. I feel you here in the silence. I sense you in the light. I welcome you into this new beginning, not just with words, but with a soul ready to follow, ready to listen, ready to belong. Father, I remain with you in this quiet place, still breathing in the peace you have so gently wrapped around me. The stillness lingers like a soft veil over my heart. And even though the day has begun to stir beyond these walls, something inside me does not want to leave this moment. There is a pull, a stirring deeper than words. I sense that it is not just peace I need, but presence. Not only calm, but closeness. There is a longing in me that I cannot ignore. A hunger, unspoken but undeniable, reaching for more of you. Lord, I do not know when this yearning began. Maybe it started with the H that no distraction could numb, or the silence in the night when every noise fades except the one inside my chest that keeps asking, is there more? Maybe it grew slowly, with every passing moment where I felt like something sacred was just out of reach. Not because you were far, but because I had wandered within myself. But now, here in this morning stillness, I feel it again, this H that refuses to be filled by anything less than you. God, I confess I have tried to satisfy it with other things. With business, with approval, with certainty. I have filled my hands and my calendar and my mind, hoping to quiet the restlessness, but none of it satisfies. The longing remains, and the more I chase the world's answers, the deeper this longing seems to grow. It is not weakness that draws me here, it is honesty. I am thirsty, and only you can quench it. So I bring you this thirst, not with shame, but with open hands, because I know you do not turn away the empty. You do not dismiss the desperate. You are drawn to the ones who cry out for more, not more things, but more of you. I do not want what the world calls success. I do not want comfort that costs me closeness with you. I do not want to gain the world and lose the wonder of your presence. What I want is to know you deeper, to walk more closely, to feel the rhythm of your spirit in my breath, in my thoughts, in my choices. Even now, as the sun stretches wider across the sky, I feel something expanding within me too. This longing is not something to hide. It is something holy, a sign that I am made for more than what I can see or touch. I was made for communion, for intimacy, for a relationship with the one who knew me before my first breath. So I lean into this Aish. I do not run from it. I sit with it. I let it open me to you. Lord, I do not ask you to remove this longing. I ask you to honor it. Let it become the doorway through which you draw me closer. Let it become the cry that touches your heart and causes you to lean in. I do not need a flood. I need a drop of your nearness, enough to remind my soul that I am not forgotten, not forsaken, not overlooked. You see me. You know this H, because you placed it there. It is your invitation for me to come home to you again. Let me not ignore it today. Let me not numb it with routine or bury it beneath productivity. Let this longing rise until it becomes prayer. Let it rise until it becomes surrender. Let it rise until it becomes love. For I believe that what I long for is not just a feeling, but a person. It is you. And I believe you will meet me here, not just once, but again and again, as often as I turn to you. God, if I walk through this day with a longing that lingers, let it keep me close to you. Let it be the thread that ties my heart to yours. The whisper that reminds me there is more to see, more to know, more to become. Not in the eyes of others, but in the shelter of your arms. Let it be what wakes me, what keeps me, what draws me into every sacred moment with you. If I find myself in conversations or crowds, let my spirit stay near to yours. If I feel the sting of loneliness or the weight of silence, let be the place where your presence grows loud. Remind me that longing is not lack, it is life. It is proof that I was created for divine connection, for something beyond the surface of things. And you, Lord, are never beyond reach. Let this longing stretch me, shape me, soften me. Let it tear down the walls I built to stay safe. Let it make room for vulnerability, for wonder, for faith that trembles and believes anyway. I do not want to numb it. I want to follow where it leads, even if it leads me into places where I must wait, where I must trust, where I must walk without answers. If longing leads me to you, then I will not fear it. I will welcome it as a gift. I surrender my desire to fix, to figure it all out. I let go of my need to know what comes next. I choose instead to follow this holy H, the one that reminds me you are better than all I have chased. You are worth the yearning, worth the tears, worth the quiet pursuit. I do not need to pretend I am full when I am not. I come empty, and I believe you delight in filling the vessels that are honest enough to say they need you. Lord, let this longing carry me deeper today, not just into prayer, but into encounter. Let it shift how I see, how I speak, how I move through this day. Let it be the lens through which I choose gentleness over harshness, silence over noise, presence over performance. Let it shape my prayers, not with perfect language, but with raw truth. Let it birth intimacy, not formality. Let it bring me back to you, again and again, like waves that keep returning to shore. And if this ache remains by the time the sun sets again, let it not be a burden, but a blessing, a reminder that I am awake, a reminder that you are near, a reminder that there is more, always more for those who dare to desire you above all. Lord, the H that rises in my chest today does not come from nowhere. As much as I long for you in this morning light, I cannot deny that yesterday still lingers. It clings like a fog that will not lift. I try to step forward, to embrace the newness you offer, but some part of me is still looking back. Some part of me is still walking through moments I never fully faced. Conversations I replay in my mind, choices I regret but cannot undo. I carry them with me even as the sun rises, and I do not want to pretend they are not there. Father, you see what I try to hide. You know the memories that still sting, the ones that surface when the world goes quiet, the words I spoke that I wish I could take back, the silence I kept when I should have spoken, the ways I tried to be strong when I was really afraid. You know the places I avoid in my heart, because I am not sure I am ready to feel them. But I bring them now, not to relive the pain, but to let you heal it. I do not want to live stuck in what was. I want to walk in what is and move toward what will be. But I know I cannot skip over the past, not when it still holds pieces of me. So I invite you into it, Lord, not just into today, but into all the yesterdays I tried to leave behind. I give you permission to walk with me into the moments I have tried to forget. I trust that you will not shame me. You will not rush me. You will not scold me for being tender. You are gentle. You are kind. You are patient with my process. There are parts of my story that I have tucked away, hoping time would erase them. But time has not healed what I refused to acknowledge. And now, with open hands and a trembling heart, I ask you to help me face them, not alone, but with you. Help me look at the places I failed, the places I was wounded, the places I lost my way, not with condemnation, but with compassion. Show me, Lord, where I still hold on to shame. Show me where I carry guilt like a heavy garment. Show me where I have told myself I do not deserve joy, or peace, or second chances. And when you show me, Speak gently. Remind me of who I am in your eyes, not just who I was in those moments. Let me see my story through your mercy. Let me walk through it not as a prisoner, but as someone being set free. God, there are memories I have buried because they hurt too much to feel. But in burying them, I buried pieces of myself. I want to be whole again. I want to be healed from the inside out. And I believe you can do that. I believe you can go into the places I cannot and bring light where there has been darkness. I believe you can bring peace to the memories that still make my heart ache. I believe you can give purpose to the pain I have carried for so long. I do not ask for forgetting. I ask for redeeming. I ask for you to take the broken pieces and make something beautiful. I ask for you to take the parts of me that feel ruined and write new meaning into them. I know you are the God who restores. You are the one who turns mourning into dancing, ashes into beauty, sorrow into songs of praise. And if you can do that with the world, I believe you can do that with my heart. I am tired of pretending to be unaffected, tired of covering my wounds with forced strength. I do not want to numb anymore. I want to feel, even if it hurts, even if the tears come, because I believe that healing begins with honesty. And this is me being honest. I am still healing. I am still learning how to let go. I am still discovering what it means to be forgiven, to forgive myself, and to believe that nothing in my past can disqualify me from your love. Lord, walk with me through each memory I have avoided. Help me see the truth, not through the lens of shame, but through the lens of your grace. Show me where you were in those moments. Show me what you were doing when I thought I was alone. Speak to the younger version of me who did not know how to cope, how to trust, how to rest. Let your presence fill the gaps left by people who could not stay. Promises that were not kept, and dreams that broke along the way. There are things I cannot change, and I release them to you. There are words I cannot unsay, and I place them in your mercy. There are moments I cannot fix, and I place them in your hands, not so I can erase the past, but so you can reframe it. Teach me how to live with memory without letting it control me. Teach me how to carry my story, not as a burden, but as a testimony. Teach me how to look back without losing sight. Oh, you are leading me now. God, I know that healing is not always fast. Sometimes it comes in layers, in quiet moments like this one, where I finally stop running and start trusting that you are big enough to hold it all. My past, my pain, my process. And because I know who you are, I do not have to be afraid of what I feel. I do not have to fear being too much or not enough. You already know it all, and you still choose to stay. So I will stay, too. I will stay in this moment until I feel your peace settle over the places that still feel tender. I will stay until the fog begins to lift, not because I forced it, but because your presence made it possible. I will stay with you here, in this quiet morning light, as you whisper truth over the lies I believed, and speak life into the places I thought were too far gone. This is not the end of my story. This is a new beginning. And even though yesterday still echoes, today holds promise. Because you are here, and where you are, healing begins. God, as I sit with the pieces of yesterday laid bare in your presence, I realize how many moments passed me by without notice. How many times you were near, and I did not know it. I was so busy surviving, so focused on what I thought needed fixing, that I missed the whisper of your voice. It was not that you were silent. It was that I was not still enough to hear. And now, as the quiet of this morning wraps around me again, I feel the weight of what I overlooked, but not with shame. With longing. I want to be the kind of person who notices. I want to hear when you speak. Father, how many times did you try to comfort me with a breeze I did not stop to feel? Or guide me with a thought I pushed aside as nothing? How many times did you nudge my spirit gently, asking me to pause, to turn, to listen, and I kept walking, unaware that heaven was reaching out to earth through a single moment. I do not want to miss it again. Not because I fear punishment, but because I crave closeness. I want to recognize the sound of your presence, even in the smallest things. You are not the God of chaos and noise. You are not found in the storm of distraction. You speak with a voice that is soft, but certain. A voice that does not force itself upon me, but waits patiently for my attention. You speak like a friend who leans close, not one who demands to be heard. And I admit, Lord, I have often looked for you in the thunder, expected you in the earthquake, searched for you in the fire. But now I see that you were in the stillness, in the hush between breaths, in the quiet conviction that stirred but was never shouted. So many times I asked you for signs, loud, clear, undeniable. I wanted direction, but on my terms. I wanted clarity, but without surrender. I now see that I asked for you to answer me in the language of my expectations, rather than allowing you to speak in the way you choose. You are not always obvious, but you are always present. And even when I missed the whisper, you did not stop speaking. You simply waited until I was ready to listen. Lord, I want to be ready now. I want to train my heart to recognize your nearness, not just in the miraculous, but in the mundane. I want to tune my spirit to your frequency, so that even when the world grows loud, I still know the sound of your voice. Help me slow down. Help me quiet the noise inside my mind. Help me resist the urge to fill every silence with something. Let me not be afraid of stillness. Let me learn to see it as sacred. There is something beautiful about the way you speak. You do not shout over my distractions. You wait for me to turn toward you. And when I do, you speak with words that go deeper than any sound. You speak to the heart, not just the ear. You speak in the language of peace and conviction and comfort. You speak through scripture, through dreams, through others, through silence. You speak in ways I often fail to expect, and that is why I miss you. But today, I am listening. Teach me to be attentive, not anxious. Teach me to be present, not preoccupied. Teach me to be willing to pause, even if nothing seems urgent, because I know that in the pause, You are often the closest. Let the stillness be my sanctuary. Let the quiet become the place where I meet you again and again. I no longer want to rush past the holy things. I want to live slow enough to notice when you whisper, God. I remember now moments I once dismissed that feel different in hindsight. That time I felt strangely moved by a song, or when peace came over me for no reason, or when a stranger said something that pierced deeper than they could have known. I remember moments when I should have been afraid but was not. When I should have broken but did not. I see now that was you. And even though I did not call it by your name then, my spirit recognized something holy had passed by. Let me not take those moments for granted. Let me cherish them now, even if I misunderstood them at the time. Let them become markers in my journey, reminders that you were near, even when I was not paying attention. Let them be proof that you never stopped pursuing me, even when I was too distracted to notice. Let them draw me into deeper awareness, deeper gratitude, deeper awe. You are not just speaking when I am praying. You are speaking when I am walking, when I am waiting, when I am hurting, when I am hoping. You are speaking through creation, through conscience, through the quiet tug I sometimes feel in my chest. You are speaking when I least expect it, and I want to live with my ears open and my heart attuned, not because I need constant answers, but because I long for communion. I want to hear you because I love you. Lord, I ask you now if I have missed something you tried to say. Please speak it again, not because you owe me anything, but because I am finally quiet enough to hear. I want to know your heart. I want to know your will. I want to be led not by pressure or fear or impulse, but by your whisper. If there is something I have overlooked, bring it back to me in your kindness. If there is a word I ignored, remind me gently. If there is a path I have stepped away from, realign me with grace. I do not need to be perfect in my listening. I only need to be willing. I do not have to strain to hear you. I simply have to be still. And I believe that even now, in this stillness, you are speaking, not with thunder or shaking ground, with the soft and steady whisper of love, the kind that does not demand, but invites, the kind that does not overwhelm, but draws near, the kind that has waited patiently for me to quiet the world long enough to say, I am here, and I am listening. Father, now that I have paused long enough to hear the whisper, I feel its weight settle gently over my soul. It is not heavy with burden, but with meaning. It does not ask me to run or strive, only to remain, only to be still. And here in the stillness, something inside me softens. I am no longer rushing to say the right words or to feel something dramatic. I am simply kneeling, not just with my body, but with my heart, kneeling in surrender, kneeling in wonder, kneeling because I have come to understand that stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the fullness of presence. Lord, I admit that quiet used to make me uncomfortable. I filled it with noise, distraction, even good intentions, but all of it became a barrier between us. I thought silence meant you were not speaking, but now I see that it is often the place where your voice echoes the clearest. The noise was never louder than you, but it was louder than my willingness to slow down and listen. And so, here I am now, not asking for answers, but for nearness, not asking for escape, but for depth. Let this stillness be more than a moment. Let it be a posture. Let it teach me how to live from a place of quiet confidence, rather than constant reaction. I do not want to live chasing clarity when you have called me to rest in trust. I do not want to react to life like a storm victim, tossed by every wave. I want to abide like a tree rooted deep in still waters. I want to meet the day, not with panic, but with peace that flows from being grounded in you, God. Kneeling before you in this quiet space strips me of every title, every role, every effort to prove my worth. Here I am, not my performance, my past, or even my potential. I am simply yours, and that is enough. This place of stillness is not weakness, it is holy ground. It is where striving ends and belonging begins. It is where I stop trying to earn what you already gave me freely. Love without condition, presence without demand. Lord, I invite you into this quiet, not just as a visitor, but as the center. Make this stillness my dwelling place. Remind me that peace does not come from everything making sense, but from knowing you are near, even when nothing else does. I have spent so much energy trying to control what I cannot, manage what is beyond me, and anticipate what I cannot see. But here in the quiet, I am learning to release, to breathe, to let go without fear that I will fall into nothing. Because when I fall into silence, I fall into you. Let this kneeling become my strength. Let this silence become my song. Let it anchor me when noise demands my attention and urgency pulls at my sleeves. Let it protect the soft places in my spirit that the world is too harsh to hold. Let it be where I remember who I am and who you have always been. Not a distant deity waiting for me to measure up, but a tender father who meets me in the hush with open arms. This stillness is teaching me how to see, not with anxious eyes, but with wonder. I begin to notice the small things that carry traces of eternity, the slow breath, the rhythm of my heartbeat, the light inching across the floor. None of it shouts, yet all of it speaks. In this quiet, I am being retrained to see you not just in miracles, but in moments. Not just in breakthroughs, but in being. You are in the now, not just the next. Father, forgive me for the way I have filled my soul with noise, even spiritual noise. Forgive me for mistaking movement for meaning, and for thinking that silence is a void. Teach me that silence can be sacred, that quiet can be worship, and that kneeling in stillness can be more powerful than shouting in fear. Teach me that in stillness, I do not lose momentum, I gain clarity. I gain intimacy. I gain you. Here in this stillness, I feel layers of tension begin to fall away. The tension of needing to be right. The tension of needing to be strong. The tension of needing to carry more than I was made to hold. I let it go. Not because I have figured out how, but because I trust you enough to take it from me. I release it into this silence, into this space where only your voice matters. And I wait not with impatience, but with expectancy. There is something holy about waiting in stillness. It feels like trust. It feels like worship. It feels like leaning into a love that is not in a hurry. I am not forgotten here. I am not unseen. I am being held. And that is enough. I do not need the day to be perfect. I only need to begin it from this place of stillness, this sacred pause where you meet me without performance, without pretense. God, if I could live my whole life from this place, not physically kneeling, but spiritually yielded, I know my soul would grow steady. I know I would stop grasping and start receiving. I know I would stop pushing and start resting in the truth that you are already working, already moving, already holding all things together, including me. Let the stillness shape me. Let it form my responses. Let it slow my thoughts and steady my hands. Let it fill my words with grace and my steps with gentleness. Let it become the rhythm beneath everything I do today, so that even when the world gets loud, I do not lose this peace. Even when I am pulled in every direction, I do not forget this place. Let this stillness live in me. And when I leave this moment and the noise begins again, remind me that I can return to this quiet anytime, not by escaping life, by inviting you into it, by carrying this stillness like a hidden sanctuary within me, by kneeling in my spirit. Even when I am standing in the middle of a crowd, let the sacred quiet become my home, the place where I find you again and again, always waiting, always near. Father, as I continue resting in this sacred stillness, I begin to feel the quiet weight of something more than peace. It is presence, not distant or vague, but personal, close, steady, familiar, like the nearness of a gentle hand guiding me, not with force, but with care. And as I remain here, undistracted, I begin to recognize you not only as the God of glory, but as the shepherd of my soul, the one who walks beside me with patience, the one who leads, not with pressure, but with a voice that invites and never demands. Lord, I have followed many voices in my life, some loud, some urgent, some promising clarity but delivering confusion. But your voice is different. Yours does not rush. It does not manipulate. It does not play on fear or shame. It leads with love. It guides with peace. And it never shouts above the noise. It waits for me to come close enough to hear. You are the shepherd who knows my name, who calls to me not from a distance, but from the path you already walk ahead of me. There is something in my heart that softens when I think of you this way, not as a ruler commanding my obedience from afar, but as a shepherd walking at my side, guiding me with eyes that see further than mine ever could. You see the dangers I cannot, the detours I might take, the awareness in my steps before I even feel it myself. You do not just lead me forward. You protect me from behind. You surround me with a care that is both fierce and gentle. God, I confess there are days when I resist your leading, not because I do not trust you, but because I am afraid of where the path might go. I try to steer my own way, to take shortcuts, to cling to the familiar, even when it no longer brings peace. But every time I wander, I feel the absence of your voice, like the loss of a compass. And when I stop long enough to listen again, I hear you not scolding, not accusing, but calling me back with kindness, You never shame me into returning. You draw me in with mercy. You are the shepherd who leaves the 99 for the one. You are the voice that speaks my name with tenderness when I feel too lost to find my way home. And today, I am choosing to follow again. Not because I have everything figured out, but because I have remembered that no one else leads me like you do. No one else knows my heart like you do. No one else stays when I stumble, waits when I hesitate, and rejoices when I take even the smallest step in the right direction. Father, I ask you now, teach me to follow your lead with trust, not fear, even when the path is unfamiliar, even when I cannot see around the next corner. I do not ask for a clear map, only for a clear sense of your presence. Because if you are walking with me, I know I will not be led astray. Your voice does not lead to confusion. It leads to peace. And even when the way feels steep or narrow, your hand steadies me. Help me recognize your guidance in the simple things, in the sudden pause I feel in my spirit, in the quiet stirring that makes me slow down or turn back, in the scripture that lights up unexpectedly, in the peace that settles in my chest when I am finally aligned with your will. Help me be humble enough to follow, even when it does not make sense to others. Let obedience become less about results and more about relationship, about staying close to the one who loves me enough to lead me. God, I know your voice never contradicts your word, so make my heart tender to truth. Let me not chase signs or feelings more than I chase you. Let me stay grounded in what you have already spoken through Scripture, and remain open to how you speak freshly each day. Whether through gentle nudges, wise counsel, or the soft conviction that echoes in silence, help me stay attentive. Sometimes I wonder why you chose to speak in a whisper, to lead with such gentleness, when you hold all power in your hands. But perhaps it is because you want me near, close enough to hear you without shouting, close enough to feel the rhythm of your steps, close enough that I do not need to search for you in the distance, because you have been beside me all along. Let that nearness change the way I live. Let it remind me that I am never alone, not even in moments that feel quiet or empty. The shepherd is always near, even in the valley. And if I find myself in one of those valleys today, Lord, let me not panic. Let me remember that valleys are not places you abandon. They are places you accompany. You do not just lead me beside still waters. You walk with me through the shadows. You do not promise the absence of difficulty, but you promise your presence within it. And that is more than enough for me. I would rather walk a hard path with you than an easy one alone. So I kneel in this moment, not in defeat, but in devotion. I choose to follow again, even when the way ahead feels uncertain. I choose to trust that if you are leading, the path will be holy, even if it is not easy. I choose to let your voice be the one I follow above all others, quieter than fear, stronger than doubt, more faithful than every fleeting thought that passes through my mind. And if my steps feel unsure, let my heart remain steady in your love. If my vision is clouded, let your hand be what steadies my direction. If I feel weak, let your presence be the strength beneath each decision I face. You are not leading me blindly. You are guiding me with wisdom, compassion, and and purpose. Even now, even here, even when I cannot see where you are taking me, I choose to believe that I am not wandering. I am being led. I am being held. I am being known by the shepherd who walks every path beside me. Father, if you are truly the shepherd who stays close in the shadows, then you already know what I have tried to keep hidden. You have walked with me through the hours when I smiled in front of others but fell apart in silence. You have seen the places inside me that I have not even dared to name. I realize now that there are hurts I have never spoken to you, not because I did not believe you cared, but because I was not sure I could survive feeling them. Some wounds stay buried so deep. They become part of how I move through the world. But this morning, in the safety of your presence, I am ready to bring you the pain I have not prayed. Lord, you know where it began. The words that were said in anger, the silence that cut deeper than shouting ever could, the promises broken without explanation, the loss that still echoes like an unanswered question. You know the moments I stopped expecting things to change, not because I trusted you fully, but because it hurt too much to hope. I kept walking, kept functioning, but I did so with walls around my heart, walls I was not even aware I had built. But here in the stillness, those walls begin to tremble. I feel the stirring of tears I thought had dried long ago. I feel the ache return, not as punishment, but as invitation. You are not asking me to relive the pain. You are inviting me to release it. You are not pulling me back into the moment it happened. You are asking me to hand it over so it no longer has to define who I am or how I love. You are not afraid of what I carry. You are not shocked by what I feel. You already know, and you still stay. So, I bring it to you, God, not eloquently, not even completely. Just honestly, I bring you the disappointment that still lingers in my chest, the grief that wraps around certain memories like a shadow that one lift. I bring you the bitterness I have tried to deny, the sorrow I have tried to explain away. I bring you the things that still sting when I am tired or alone or caught off guard. I bring you the pain I thought time would erase, but has only grown more quiet and more heavy with each passing season. I do not know what healing looks like from here. I do not know how long it takes or what shape it will take when it finally arrives. But I trust that healing begins with honesty. So I will not pretend with you. I will not protect you from my tears or shield you from my anger. You are not afraid of my emotions. You are not intimidated by my rawness. You do not need my pain to be polished before you receive it. You just ask me to bring it. And so I do. I bring the ache I have carried in my chest for so long, it began to feel normal. I bring the sleepless nights I have brushed off as nothing. I bring the quiet sense of loss I feel when I see others laugh in ways I have forgotten how to. I bring the loneliness that sometimes finds me, even in a room full of people. I bring the words I never said, the apologies I never received, and the questions that still do not have answers. Lord, I lay it at your feet, not because I know what you will do with it, but because I believe you are the only one who can do anything at all. I do not ask you to erase the past, only to remove its grip. I do not ask you to rewrite my history, only to redeem it. Let this pain become a place where your presence meets me in ways I have never known before. Let this brokenness become the soil where something tender and strong can grow. I know now that bringing my pain to you is not weakness, it is trust. And it takes more courage to be vulnerable with you than to keep pretending everything is fine. You already see beneath the surface. You already know what lies underneath the strength I show others. So I let the mask fall. I let the words rise. I let the tears come, even if they come quietly, even if they come slowly, because I trust that in every tear, you are near. Father, I ask that you would touch the places I have ignored, not with judgment, but with gentleness. I ask that you would tend to the wounds I have tried to hide, even the ones I caused myself. Teach me how to grieve without getting stuck. Teach me how to forgive without forgetting what was lost. Teach me how to live with a heart that has been cracked open, but not crushed. Let this pain become a path, not a prison. Help me forgive the people who never said sorry, not to excuse what they did, but to free myself from the burden of bitterness. Help me forgive myself for what I did not know, for how I coped, for how long I have carried this. Help me breathe again, without guilt, for the joy that sometimes feels out of reach. Help me believe that healing is not betrayal of what I felt, it is honoring it enough to let it be transformed. God, I do not need you to fix me in a moment. I just need you to stay with me in it. I need to know that this pain is seen, that it matters, that it will not be wasted. I need to believe that even here, in the tender places, you are working. Even now, you are writing something beautiful into the story I have been afraid to revisit. Let your comfort reach the places no one else has touched. Let your love settle into the cracks I never thought could be mended. I know that pain held in silence becomes a burden, but pain brought to you becomes sacred. So I give it all to you, the bruises, the memories, the fears that linger at the edges of my faith. And I ask, not for quick resolution, but for gentle restoration, day by day, breath by breath, thought by thought, until the wound becomes a well, and the H becomes a song, and I no longer carry what you already carried for me. You are not just the shepherd of the strong, you are the refuge of the broken, and I find my rest in you now, not in being whole, but in being held. Father, after bringing you the pain I tried to ignore for so long, I feel a quiet release inside me, a space opening, where once there was only tightness. And yet, in that space, I also feel something else rise to the surface. Fear, not the loud kind that makes me tremble, but the subtle kind that hides behind responsibility, behind planning, behind effort. The fear of what I cannot control, the fear of outcomes beyond my reach, of people I cannot fix, of futures I cannot predict. I name it now, not to give it power, but to surrender it into your hands. Lord, I confess I have spent so much energy trying to hold things together. I have called it wisdom, called it diligence, even faithfulness. But beneath it was worry, a quiet belief that if I did not stay on top of everything, everything might fall apart. I have tried to be strong for others, tried to anticipate every need, solve every problem, shield myself from disappointment by bracing for it ahead of time. But none of it has brought peace. None of it has made me feel safer. It has only left me tired. So here I am again, with open hands and a heart that is learning how to let go. Not out of resignation, but out of trust, because control was never mine to begin with. And deep down, I know that surrender is not weakness. It is worship. It is choosing to believe that you, God, are more capable than I am, and more compassionate than I know. You see the things I can't see. You hold what I can see, and you do not ask me to carry what was never mine. I bring you my fear of the unknown, the questions that swirl in my mind late at night, the uncertainty that creeps in when I think about the future. I bring you the people I love, their choices, their pain, their paths. I want so badly to protect them, to guide them, to spare them from heartache. But I am not their savior. I am not their shepherd. You are, and you love them more than I ever could. Help me trust you with their stories. Help me believe that you are working, even when I can't see how, even when it looks messy, even when it seems slow. Help me rest in the truth that you are not indifferent. You are intentional, and you do not need my control in order to bring about your will. God, I also give you the parts of my life that feel unfinished, the things I have started but do not know how to complete, the dreams I carry that feel too fragile to speak aloud, the goals that seem far from reach. I have tried to chart the course, to predict every twist and turn, but every time I try to force the outcome, I end up anxious and unsure. Today, I choose to release the outcome into your hands. I choose to do what I can with faith, and to leave what I cannot in your care. There is freedom in knowing that I am not responsible for being everything to everyone. I do not have to perform my way into peace. I do not have to fix what only you can heal. I do not have to predict tomorrow in order to be safe today. You are already there. You are already at work, and you are not surprised by anything that surprises me. Help me live today with open hands. Help me walk in obedience, not outcome. Let me find joy not in how much I control, but in how much I can trust. Let me be free from the lie that I am only as valuable as I am effective. My worth is not determined by how much I manage or how well I hold things together. My worth is rooted in you, in the fact that I am yours, chosen, seen, and loved. Even now, Lord, I feel the tug to pick back up the very things I have laid down, but I do not want to carry them anymore. When my mind starts to race ahead, remind me that your grace is not stored up for tomorrow. It is present for today. When I start rehearsing every possible scenario, bring me back to this moment, this breath, this place of peace. Teach me that trusting you is not a one-time decision. It is a rhythm, a returning, a continual choice to release what I can't control and receive what you freely give. I am learning that surrender is not passive. It is active. It takes courage to release. It takes strength to be still. And in this stillness, I feel the weight lift. I feel the tight grip of control begin to loosen, and in its place, I feel something softer, quieter, deeper. Peace. Not because everything is settled, but because I am settling into you. Father, let me live today with a heart at rest. Let me move with grace, not grasping. Let me speak from love, not fear. Let me act with purpose, not pressure. Let me return to you every time I feel myself reaching again for control. Let this become the way I live, not just for today, but for every day that follows. Not driven by fear, but drawn by faith. If I lose sight of trust, call me back. If I start grasping for what I cannot hold, place your hand gently over mine. Remind me that you are the author and the keeper, the provider and the protector. You are writing a story that I do not have to edit. You are building a future I do not have to manipulate. You are already ahead of me, and you are good, so I choose rest, not because I am done, but because you are enough. I choose peace, not because the world is calm, but because you are present. I choose surrender, not because I have nothing left, but because you are everything. And I choose to trust you, here and now, with everything I cannot control. Lord, as I release what I cannot control and surrender the weight I was never meant to carry, I find myself in a place that feels strangely unfamiliar. It is not chaos. It is not certainty. It is silence. And somehow, silence has always made me uneasy. I have filled quiet moments with noise, reached for distraction the moment stillness stretched too long. I have measured your nearness by how clearly I could feel or hear you. But now, in this hush that follows surrender, I sense that silence might not mean absence. It might be the sacred pause before revelation. Father, if you are here in the silence, teach me how to stay. Teach me not to rush past this space in search of answers or instructions. Teach me to dwell here without demand, to listen not for the dramatic, but for the divine presence hidden beneath the stillness. Help me resist the urge to fill the quiet with my own voice, or to assume that silence is a sign that something is wrong. Let me unlearn the fear of stillness and begin to see it as a language of love. Because silence with you is not empty, it is expectant. Like a field waiting for rain. Like a room where someone is about to speak something holy. I know now that you do some of your deepest work not in the thunder or in the fire, but in the stillness that follows obedience. And maybe silence is not a void to be feared, but a space where trust is deepened not by explanation, but by intimacy. God, I know that when you are quiet, it does not mean you have gone. It may mean you are closer than I realize. Watching, waiting, holding, refining. Sometimes silence is how you slow me down enough to see what I would have missed. Sometimes it is how you protect me from rushing into something I am not ready for. Sometimes it is how you help me become someone who trusts you, not just for what you do, but for who you are. I do not want to always need a sign. I want to need you. I do not want my peace to depend on how loudly you speak. I want it to rest in the assurance that you never leave. And even when your voice grows quiet, your love does not. Even when the sky is silent, the sun still rises. Even when the heavens do not answer right away, the breath in my lungs reminds me you are near. So, Lord, Help me wait well. Help me lean into this stillness, not with impatience, but with reverence. Help me tune my heart to the subtle ways you speak, through peace that lingers, through the word that quietly burns within, through the nudge to stay when I want to flee, through the breath that slows when I choose to trust. Help me remember that silence is not you withholding, love it is you deepening my faith. In this silence, remind me of the promises you have already spoken, the ones I have read and heard and clung to when storms rage. Remind me that your word does not return void. It does not expire. It does not depend on constant repetition to remain true. Sometimes, you say something once, and it is meant to echo through every season. So even now, when I hear nothing new, let what you have already said be enough. Let it root deeper. Let it carry me. God, show me how to be content in this quiet, not passive, not indifferent, but grounded, aware, at peace. Let my spirit stay awake, not in anxious anticipation, but in calm expectancy. Let me sit at your feet without fidgeting for answers. Let me rest in your presence without needing constant affirmation, because love does not always speak loudly. Sometimes, it just stays close. I admit, Lord, that silence often feels like waiting, and waiting is hard when I want movement, progress, resolution. But if this waiting is where trust is formed, then I want to stay long enough to grow roots. Deep ones. Roots that do not bend in the winds of emotion or circumstance. Roots that know how to draw strength even when the surface feels dry. I do not want shallow peace. I want the kind that is shaped in silence, formed in trust, sustained by presence. When doubt creeps in and whispers that you have forgotten me, silence that voice with the truth you have already placed within me. Remind me that you are never late, that what feels like delay might actually be the perfect pace for something eternal. That stillness is not wasted when you are in it, that the quiet moments are not void of purpose, they are often the womb of transformation. Father, help me live differently because of this silence. Help me speak with more care, act with more wisdom, respond with more patience. Let the stillness shape my inner life, so that what flows from me carries the weight of heaven. Let my words be fewer, but fuller. Let my steps be slower, but steadier. Let my spirit grow more sensitive, not just to noise, but to nuance, to your subtle leading, to your soft presence. Even now, as I remain in this space without resolution, I begin to see that I am not lacking anything. I have you, and that is enough. I do not need to hear something loud to know I am loved. I do not need to feel something dramatic to know you are moving. You are here, and that alone makes this silence holy. Let me carry this awareness with me into the rest of the day. Let the peace of this moment remain. Even when things grow loud again, let me return to this inner quiet whenever I feel lost or hurried. Let me remember that I can always find you not only in the mountaintop shouts, but in the valley's whisper. And sometimes, in no sound at all. Just presence, just love, just you. Father, as I rest in the stillness, no longer afraid of silence, but learning to trust it, I begin to sense something quiet awakening within me, a compass, not one made of metal or held in hand, but one buried deep in my spirit. A direction, a pull, a knowing that has nothing to do with what my eyes can see, and everything to do with what your spirit is whispering beneath the surface. It does not shout, it does not flash or spin wildly. It simply steadies me, gently nudging me to turn toward you again and again. Lord, I have searched for signs so many times, begged for clarity, waited for you to write it in the sky. And sometimes you have answered like that, but more often, your voice comes from within through that holy nudge, that soft conviction, that sudden peace in a choice that felt impossible moments before. You guide not just with external signs, but with an internal knowing that grows clearer the more I listen. And now, I am learning to lean into that. I am learning that discernment is not just about knowing what is right, but recognizing what is you. Teach me to trust this compass, not because I trust myself, but because I trust your spirit in me. Your word says that your spirit leads us into all truth. So let that truth rise from within, not borrowed from others. Not forced through fear, but planted by you, nurtured in stillness, and confirmed by peace. Let me not mistake emotional noise for divine direction. Let me wait until I sense that unmistakable alignment between your word and that deep-rooted prompting that carries your voice. God, I do not want to be led by anxiety, urgency, or pressure. I want to be led by presence. I want to walk forward because I know I am being led, not because I am being pushed. When confusion clouds my thinking, settle my soul long enough to find my bearings in you. When others speak loudly and the world pulls me in 10 directions, help me return to the inner compass you have given steady, faithful, true. There is something deeply reassuring about knowing that I do not have to figure it all out. I do not have to chase every opportunity or fear missing my moment. What is meant for me will never require me to compromise the peace you offer. And what is not meant for me will never carry the signature of your spirit. You are not a God of confusion. You are the God of alignment, of confirmation, of quiet conviction that keeps me anchored when emotions try to steer the ship. Father, ask that you would keep me sensitive to your guidance. Let my spirit grow more responsive, more attuned to the way you move. Help me see that direction is not always about a big decision. It is in the small things too. The tone I choose when I speak, the person I feel nudged to encourage, the moment I feel drawn to pause rather than press through. You guide me not just through the major intersections of life, but through the countless, unseen steps that make up the journey. So often, I have asked for a map, but you have offered me a relationship. You have not promised every detail up front. You have simply asked me to walk with you, to check in, to stay close, to remain aware. This is not about getting it all right. It is about walking in rhythm with you, step by step, learning how to recognize when the compass turns, and trusting that when it does, you are leading me to a better way. God, I also ask that you protect this compass from being tampered with. Guard my heart from lies, from fear-based decisions, from ego dressed up as boldness. Keep me humble enough to test what I feel against your word, to seek wise counsel when needed, and to pause long enough to pray before I act. Let my desire for clarity never outrun my commitment to obedience. I want to follow you with peace, not with panic. I want to know what it feels like to move through life with a soul anchored in your voice. I do not need every answer. I just need to know you are with me in every step, gently correcting my course if I drift, gently calling me back when I forget to look up. You are not a piece with turn-by-turn updates. You are a shepherd who walks with me, who teaches me to listen, to sense, to respond not from fear, but from intimacy. Let this morning be a reset, a holy recalibration. Let me quiet every competing voice until all that remains is the sure direction of your presence pointing me forward. Even if I take only one step today, let it be one led by you. Even if nothing looks different on the outside, let the shift inside me be profound, no longer chasing direction from without, but responding to the compass within, formed by your spirit, guided by your word, confirmed by your peace. And when I do not feel the compass turning, let me not panic. Let me stay present. Let me walk slowly, knowing that no movement is still movement when I am resting in you. You are not only found in momentum, you are found in alignment, in trust, in the quiet confidence that grows when I choose to follow the internal whisper rather than the external noise. Lord, I do not want to live reactive. I want to live responsive. I want to be the kind of person who does not wait until things fall apart to seek direction, but who walks closely enough that even the smallest shift in your leading causes me to pause, to adjust, to follow, like a sailboat adjusting to the wind. Let my spirit adjust to yours. Let me be flexible, not driven by my own plans, but shaped by your hand. You are the one who placed this compass in me, the one who promised never to leave, the one who speaks even when I forget how to listen. And even now, in this moment of quiet reflection, I sense you reminding me that I am not alone in any decision I face. You are here, you are near, and you are always pointing me home. Lord, as I begin to recognize the compass you have placed within me, I am more aware than ever of the world that constantly tries to pull me in different directions. It is not always the obvious things. Sometimes the confusion comes dressed in good intentions, in voices that sound wise, in choices that seem right. But deep down, I know that not every voice is yours. Not every opportunity is from you. And not every path that appears clear is truly led by your spirit. What I need now, Father, is discernment, a holy sensitivity that can separate noise from truth, urgency from guidance, and emotion from conviction. God, I live in a world that never stops speaking. Every platform has a message. Every opinion demands attention. Advice is endless, even when it is not rooted in wisdom. And I confess that I have often let those outside voices shape my decisions more than I should have. I have let pressure sound like purpose. I have let fear masquerade as logic. I have confused momentum with direction. But now, I want to live differently. I want to see clearly. I want to know what is truly from you. Teach me how to listen in a way that filters the counterfeit from the authentic. Let your word be the lens through which I interpret every voice I hear. As if something leads me into peace, into humility, into love, let me lean in. But if it leads me into striving, comparison, pride, or fear, remind me to turn back. Let discernment be more than head knowledge. Let it be a posture of heart one that chooses stillness before reaction, prayer before action, and truth before agreement. Lord, sometimes the most dangerous voices are the ones that sound like my own doubts. The internal noise that tells me I am behind, that I am failing, that I need to do more to be enough. But those are not your words. You never speak to crush my spirit. You do not rush me with panic or pressure. Your voice brings clarity, not confusion, correction, not condemnation, hope, not fear. Help me recognize the tone of heaven and learn to trust that tone above every echo of this world. God, in moments when I do not know what to do, help me not panic. Teach me that discernment sometimes means waiting. Sometimes it means doing nothing until peace returns. Help me understand that clarity is not always instant, that your direction is often revealed gradually as I choose obedience in small steps. Let me be okay with not knowing everything, as long as I know I am walking with you. Protect me from being driven by the need to please others. Let me not be swayed by applause or approval. Let me not measure decisions by how they look to people, but by how they align with you. Even when something seems good on the surface, let me have the courage to pause and ask, is this from you, Lord? And if the answer is not clear, let me wait. Let me be still. Let me trust that no opportunity is worth more than obedience. There will be moments today, I know, when decisions must be made in real time, words spoken quickly, responses required without warning. In those moments, breathe discernment into me. Slow me just enough to check my spirit. Quiet me just enough to feel your leading. Let me not act out of habit, fear, or impulse, but out of a heart trained to seek you first. And Father, when I hear others speak, let me listen with wisdom. Let me not be quick to receive every opinion or absorb every emotion that enters a room. Let me become someone who can sit in the presence of many voices, but be moved only by yours. Let me test what I hear, not with suspicion, but with discernment. Let me ask, does this align with your heart? Does this reflect your truth? Does this echo the peace you have already placed within me? God, you have not left me unequipped. You have given me your word to anchor me, your spirit to guide me, and the gift of wisdom to protect me. Let me not neglect these gifts. Let me use them daily, not just for big choices, but for the small ones too. Let discernment become a habit, not just a desperate plea when I feel lost. Let it shape my perspective, deepen my confidence, and guide my every step. Sometimes, discernment means walking away from something that almost looked right. Sometimes it means saying no to something everyone else applauds. And that is hard. But I would rather walk alone with you than follow a crowd in the wrong direction. Give me courage to choose what is holy, even when it is not easy. Let me value truth more than comfort. Let me follow conviction more than convenience. Father, let discernment shape how I view people too. Help me see beyond appearances, beyond behavior, beyond first impressions. Give me eyes that see hearts, that sense burdens, that recognize what is real. Let me not judge by what is obvious, but by what is true. Help me speak words that heal, not because they are clever or impressive, but because they are timely and spirit-led. Even now, as I pray, I ask that you would begin sharpening this discernment within me. Let it become part of how I think, how I process, how I interact with the world, not in a way that makes me proud, but in a way that makes me peaceful, not in a way that isolates me, but in a way that anchors me. I want to live with eyes wide open, ears finely tuned, and a heart grounded in you. So wherever I go today, whether in a crowded room or a quiet space, whether facing a decision or just choosing how to respond, I ask for one thing above all: help me discern. Help me know what is yours. Help me follow what brings me closer to you. Help me walk with wisdom, speak with grace, act with courage, and rest in the knowing that when I choose you, I never walk in darkness. Father, now that I have asked you to help me discern what is from you and what is not, I realize how fiercely the world fights for my attention. Even as I sit here in prayer, my mind wanders. Notifications blink. Thoughts race. Tasks whisper. The silence that once brought comfort suddenly feels like an invitation for everything else to intrude. There is a battle happening, one I did not always recognize, but I feel it now. It is the battle to stay present, to stay still, to stay with you. Lord, I confess that my attention is fragile. It is pulled in so many directions. Even when I try to anchor it in you, I scroll through words that promise connection, but leave me feeling distant. I chase updates, ideas, headlines, and responses, hoping to find meaning, but often end up more scattered than before. And even when I want to focus, it feels like the noise is louder than my will. But I know that if I do not protect my attention, I will never truly hear you. I will never be fully available to the only voice that matters. God, help me see that what I give my attention to shapes my soul, that every yes to distraction is a no to presence, that every glance away from what is holy is a step further from peace. I do not want to be half present with you. I do not want my thoughts to drift through prayer like clouds passing through a storm. I want to sit with you in stillness and not flee the quiet when it stretches too long. I want to stay with you long enough to be changed. This war is subtle, but it is real. It does not always roar, it often hums quietly, just beneath the surface, luring me with urgency and noise. But underneath that noise is a hunger for something deeper, and only you can satisfy it. So I bring you my distracted heart, my weary mind, my tired attention span. I bring you the part of me that drifts and wanders and forgets what really matters. I ask you to bring it back to center. Teach me to guard the gates of my heart and mind. Let me be more mindful of what I consume, what I dwell on, what I allow to enter and linger. Let me choose stillness over scrolling. Let me choose reflection over reaction. Let me turn down the volume of everything else so I can truly hear what you are saying. Because I know you are speaking not just when I am ready, but always. The question is whether I am listening. Father, I ask you to help me slow down the pace of my mind, to help me resist the pressure to be constantly plug in, constantly productive, constantly performing. That is not where life is found. That is not where truth lives. Life is found in you, and to find you, I must be present. I must be quiet. I must be willing to lay down the addiction to urgency and take up the discipline of stillness. Lord, I know the enemy does not always try to destroy me with big temptations. Sometimes, he just keeps me distracted. If he can't derail me with sin, he will drain me with noise. But I refuse to give him my focus. I refuse to give him my morning, my peace, my worship. This time is sacred. This space belongs to you, and I choose to fight for it not with striving, but with surrender. Help me reclaim my mind. Help me fight for my thoughts. Help me break the habit of running from silence and instead run to it. Knowing you wait for me there, let this become my daily rhythm, to sit before you without agenda, to listen without expectation, to be fully here, even if just for a little while. Because these moments, Father, these still, undistracted moments are where my soul remembers who I am and who you are. Let me not only protect my time with you, but cherish it. Let me value it more than the opinions of others, more than the updates of the world, more than the temporary thrill of information. Let me be willing to miss out on the noise, so I do not miss out on you. Because every time I trade stillness for stimulation, I lose something holy. But every time I turn my heart back to you, I gain something eternal. Even as I pray this, Lord, I feel the noise trying to creep back in. But I will not panic. I will simply return over and over, as many times as it takes. Because grace is not afraid of repetition, and neither are you. You are not annoyed by how often I get distracted. You are only eager for me to return. So I do. Right now, I return my attention to you. Train me, God, to notice when my focus drifts. Let it become so familiar to sit with you that my soul feels the absence when I do not. Let your presence become my anchor, my reference point, the place I come back to again and again. Let everything else fade in comparison, not because those things do not matter, but because nothing matters more than being with you. And when the noise is louder than usual, when life presses in from all sides and the pull toward distraction is strong, remind me of what is at stake. Remind me that peace is not found in more information, but in more intimacy. Remind me that you are not far, but I must be willing to turn away from the noise long enough to recognize you standing right beside me. God, if my attention is a battlefield, then let your word be my shield. Let truth guard my mind. Let love guide my thoughts. Let peace set the rhythm of my inner life. Let me walk through today with a soul awake, a spirit alert, and eyes fixed on you. Let me not just survive the noise, but rise above it, not by effort, but by staying connected to you. Father, I know this war is not won in a day. It is a daily surrender, a daily choice to turn away from the many and turn toward the one. So today, I choose you again. I give you not just my words, but my focus, not just my mornings, but my attention, not just my prayers, but my presence. Let this be the beginning of a new kind of awareness, one where you are not squeezed in between distractions, but where you take your rightful place at the center of my attention. Lord, in the stillness where I am learning to bring my full attention back to you, something deeper begins to rise. The more I sit with you, the more I realize that being with you is not just about moments in silence. It is about walking with you in everything I do. I feel the need not only to quiet my soul in prayer, but to carry that quiet with me into the rush of the day. I want to move through life in step with you, not ahead of you in anxiety or behind you in hesitation, but beside you, in rhythm with your heart. Father, I confess how often I have rushed ahead. I have made decisions based on urgency, taken steps without asking, chased outcomes without waiting for direction. I have tried to control the pace and then wondered why peace slipped through my fingers. But I see it now. Peace comes when I stop trying to lead and begin to follow. Following requires trust. It means releasing my grip on control, and you know how tightly I hold on to the illusion of it. You know how hard it is for me to let go and believe that you truly have a plan, not just for the distant future, but for this very hour. Help me to live aware of your presence, not only in prayer, but in motion. Let me not treat this time with you as separate from the rest of my life. Let it become the foundation that everything else builds on. Let me walk through the day hearing your whisper above the noise, sensing your nudge in the chaos, feeling your hand steadying me when I am about to lose my footing. Teach me that staying in step with you is not about perfection, but alignment. It is about leaning in, listening close, and adjusting when I drift. God, I long for a life that flows in sync with you. I want to work with integrity, not just for results. I want to speak with kindness, not just clarity. I want to respond with grace, not just speed. I want the rhythm of my actions to reflect the rhythm of your love. That means slowing down where I usually rush, pausing where I usually react, and breathing when I usually push. It means making room for you in my schedule, in my plans, in my thoughts, so that I am not just running toward a goal, but walking in step with a guide. Sometimes I do not even realize I have gone ahead of you until I feel the tension in my chest, the hurried breath, the scattered thoughts. That is when I hear the quiet call to return, not just to prayer, but to pace. You are never in a hurry. You are never anxious. You are never behind. And if I am walking with you, I have no need to be any of those things either. Let me anchor my tempo to yours. Let me draw strength not from rushing, but from resting in motion with you as the one who leads every step. Lord, it is not easy to move slower in a world that rewards speed. It is not natural to wait in a culture that glorifies hustle. But I am not called to match the world's pace. I am called to follow you. And your steps are measured. Your timing is perfect. Your direction is wise. Let me follow even when the way ahead is unclear. Let me trust even when the next step feels small. Let me obey even when others are sprinting toward things that glitter but do not last. Father, teach me the sacred art of small steps. Teach me the value of moving with purpose instead of pressure. Help me to walk into conversations with sensitivity, into meetings with humility, into decisions with prayerfulness. Let me take each task of the day as an opportunity to listen for your guidance. Let every choice I make, no matter how small, be shaped by a heart that is tuned to yours. I know I won't always get it right. There will be moments I rush, moments I lag, moments I step out of line. But I also know you are patient. You are not waiting to punish me for my missteps. You are waiting to walk with me again, and that grace, that gentleness, invites me to try again, to realign, to return. So even when I drift, bring me back, not with shame, but with love. Let that love be the rhythm I follow. Let it be the beat that keeps me grounded, the pulse that carries me forward. Lord, I think about how you walked while on earth, never hurried, never scattered. You moved with compassion, with presence, with focus. You were never too busy to notice the broken or too rushed to pause for the hurting. You lived fully in each moment, always aware of the Father, always responding with love. That is the kind of life I long to live, not because it is impressive, but because it is real, because it reflects you. Let me become the kind of person who walks slowly enough to notice beauty, to offer kindness, to extend patience. Let me be someone whose steps are not dictated by pressure, but by purpose. Let me measure success not by how much I accomplish, but by how well I remain in step with you. Because walking with you may not always look fast, but it always leads somewhere worth going. Even now, I feel the pressure to get moving, to dive into the day, to catch up or prove or achieve. But I hear your voice saying, walk with me. That is all I ask. Not run, not strive. Just walk, side by side, moment by moment, step by step. So I take a breath. I choose not to rush. I choose to stay in this sacred space of alignment, because I believe that if I walk with you, I will end up exactly where I am meant to be. So lead me, Lord, into this day, into this life. Let every step I take echo with grace. Let my movement reflect peace. Let my heart beat in sync with yours. Not just in the stillness of morning prayer, but in the fullness of everything that follows. I want to walk with you not just now, but always. Father, in the stillness of this morning, as I continue to move gently beside you, I become aware of the parts of my heart that remain untouched by sunlight, the hidden places where fear still echoes, where old wounds remain tender, and where doubt occasionally whispers louder than faith. These places are not always visible to others. I may smile and speak peace, but deep within, there are corners I still carry carefully, afraid to expose them even to myself. Yet walking with you brings me closer to those spaces, not for shame, but for healing. You never force the door open, but you wait near it, patiently, lovingly. Lord, you are not only present in my triumphs, but you dwell in the overlooked spaces, the inner battles I fight silently, the burdens I carry that few understand, the decisions I wrestle with in the quiet. And today, I ask not for strength to shine outwardly, but for courage within, courage to face the thoughts I hide, to speak truth to the lies I have believed, and to let your love into the fragile rooms of my soul. I know there can be no true alignment with you if I only give you the parts of me that are polished. So I offer the unfinished places, too. I bring the raw edges, the incomplete prayers, the emotions I cannot name. God, I want to be brave enough to meet you there, not just in the sunlight of joy, but in the shadows of uncertainty. I need strength not only for what the world sees, but for what only you and I know. Let me draw from your strength in the moments when my heart trembles without reason, when my thoughts spin in loops, when I question my worth or replay the past with regret. Let those be the very moments where I anchor more deeply into your presence, not because I have answers, but because I have access to you. I have realized that many of the battles I face are not outside me, but within. And this is where I need you most, not in grand victories, but in the quiet endurance of being fully honest with myself and still choosing faith. Give me strength to hold on when the waiting feels long. Give me grace to forgive what still hurts. Give me the patience to sit in the unknown without rushing for resolution. Let me not try to fix what only you can heal. Let me not pretend I am whole when I still need mending. Let me walk through these inner landscapes with you as my constant, unshakable guide. Father, help me not to fear my own depth. Sometimes I avoid stillness because I know it will reveal the I have buried beneath distractions. But you invite me to go deeper, not to drown but to be renewed. In those depths, you are already there. You do not recoil from the mess. You do not demand that I be perfect before you speak peace. You meet me in the middle of the storm and quiet the waves, one breath at a time. So let me breathe with you now. Let me stop fighting my own soul. Let me be still enough to recognize the gentle stirring of your healing presence. I think of all the small, hidden yeses that shape a life of faith. The quiet decision to hope again after disappointment. The unnoticed prayer whispered through tears. The choice to show up when no one else sees. These moments may not draw applause, but I believe they move heaven. And I believe you are present in every single one of them. Give me the strength to keep choosing the unseen obedience, the unnoticed kindness, the inner alignment with you, even when it is hard and uncelebrated. Because what happens in the hidden places eventually becomes who I am. God, I also need strength to surrender, not just the burdens I dislike, but the false comforts I have grown used to. The thought patterns that feel familiar, but hold me back. The narratives I tell myself to stay safe, but keep me small. Peel away the layers of self-protection that block your transformation. I do not want to live guarded. I want to live grounded in you. So I ask that you meet me where I am and draw me closer to where you are leading. I know it will require stretching. I know it may cost my comfort, but I trust you more than I trust the walls I have built. Teach me to be still without being stuck. Teach me to sit with pain without letting it define me. Teach me to believe that even in the most hidden parts of my being, your light can reach. Let the strength you give be the kind that endures, the kind that quietly withstands the storm without needing to shout. Let me become someone whose resilience is built not on willpower, but on worship, not on strategy, but on surrender, not on pride, but on presence. Lord, I want to be strong in a new way, strong in spirit, strong in trust, strong in softness. I want my strength to reflect yours, to be gentle but unwavering, calm but courageous, hidden but powerful. Let my strength show up in the way I love when it is hard, the way I listen when I am tired, the way I forgive when it still hurts, the way I hope when it would be easier to give up. Let these be the marks of the inner strength you are cultivating in me. Even now, as the day stretches out ahead, I know that some of the hardest work I will do today may never be seen. The restraint not to react, the grace to give again, the endurance to show up faithfully. But if I do these things with you, then they are sacred. Then they are strength. Then they are worship. And that is enough for me. So I choose again, this morning, to let you in deeper, to let you be my strength not only in the obvious places, but in the quiet, hidden spaces of my soul where transformation begins. I know you are not done with me, and that gives me the courage to keep going. Not fast, not loud, but true, in step with you, in trust, in hope, in strength made perfect in my weakness. Lord, as I continue walking with you through this unfolding morning, I feel the gentle persistence of your presence calling me to trust the road I cannot fully see. There is something sacred in the way you ask me to take the next step without revealing the entire journey. You do not rush me, yet you invite me forward. You do not shame my hesitation, but you do not let me settle in fear either. It is here, between the known and the unknown, that courage must rise, not the loud courage that declares war on the world, but the quiet kind that whispers yes, even when my knees are trembling. God, you have brought me through so much already, and still I hesitate when the fog rolls in. I wonder what lies ahead, how I will face what I cannot yet predict, what strength will carry me when my plans unravel. But then I remember my path was never meant to be dictated by clarity, but by closeness to you. I do not walk because I know every turn. I walk because I know your heart. And that is more than enough to keep moving, even when the trail narrows, even when the answers hide behind time, even when I carry more questions than direction. Father, help me to see uncertainty not as a threat, but as an invitation to lean, to listen, to follow you in trust rather than control. Let me step away from the need to understand everything before I obey. Teach me to measure progress not by distance, but by faithfulness. Let every unseen road become a sacred place where I discover that you are the way, not just the guide. I do not need a map if I walk hand in hand with the one who formed the mountains and calls every star by name. There are days when I feel brave enough to chase anything, and days when getting out of bed feels like an act of courage. Thank you for meeting me in both. Thank you for seeing the courage it takes simply to keep showing up when the weight is heavy, when the path feels dry, when the pace is slow. Let me not overlook the strength it takes to remain present, to be kind in fatigue, to love in the midst of lack, to stay soft when life feels harsh. These, too, are steps of bravery. These, too, are sacred. God, I want to be the kind of person who moves forward not because the way is easy, because you are trustworthy. Let my courage not be rooted in circumstances, but in your character. You are good. You are with me. You are working. These truths do not shift even when my emotions do. Remind me again that my feelings are not my compass. My fears do not determine my direction. My doubts do not disqualify my destiny. What matters most is that you are here, now, always. Sometimes the hardest step is not the first, but the one after failure. So, Father, give me the courage to try again where I once fell, to believe again where I once doubted, to speak again where I once went silent, to build again where something once broke. I do not want to live in the shadow of my past. I want to walk in the light of redemption. You do not hold my yesterdays against me. You use them to shape a deeper trust. So let today be marked not by perfection, but by perseverance. By small, faithful steps that declare I still believe you are writing something beautiful with my life. Lord, it is easy to romanticize courage as something loud and dramatic, but most of the courage I need today is quiet and personal. The courage to forgive someone who is not sorry. The courage to rest when I feel guilty for not producing. The courage to be misunderstood without retaliating. The courage to wait when I want to act. The courage to speak up when it would be easier to stay silent. The courage to be joyful even when the world feels heavy. These are not always visible, but they are real. They are the fires that refine the soul. I do not want to miss the miracle of this very moment by longing too much for what is ahead. So ground me in the now, in this breath, in this space. Let me walk this step well. Let me trust that the unseen path is not a mistake, but a mystery to be embraced. You are not withholding clarity to punish me, but to deepen my reliance. And when I think about it, is not that the greatest gift, to know you not just in the outcome, but in the process, to discover you not only in the destination, but in the delay. God, you see the full road. You see what I cannot. So I surrender the illusion that I can plan my way into peace. True peace does not come from knowing the future, but from knowing the one who holds it. You hold my days. You hold my nights. You hold the threads I cannot weave on my own. And I trust you with the tapestry, even when all I can see is a single, tangled strand. I will keep walking because you are walking with me. Let my courage be contagious, not because I have everything figured out, but because I am anchored in something deeper. Let others see the quiet confidence that grows from walking with you. Let them feel safe to ask where that courage comes from, and let my life answer. It comes from a love that does not waver, from a presence that does not leave, from a peace that does not depend on the path being smooth. It comes from you, so here I am. Once again, offering my feet to the journey. I may not feel brave every moment, but I know the source of all bravery walks beside me. And that is enough. I may stumble. I may question. I may feel the wind of fear against my skin, But I will not stop moving. I will not give in to paralysis. I will take this next step, and then the next, and then the next, because you are worth trusting. You are worth following. You are worth it all, God, when I take each step in trust, not because I can see what lies ahead, but because I know you are already there. I find peace blooming in the unknown. Just as the last breath of prayer whispered courage into the quiet places of my soul, now you are drawing me deeper into the sanctuary of your presence. It is not the size of my strength that sustains me, but the nearness of your spirit. When the noise of the world grows loud and the weight of uncertainty presses in, you become my still point. You are not only the guide of the path I am learning, you are the calm in the very center of the storm. Father, teach my heart to lean fully into this moment, not rushing through it in search of resolution, but resting in the knowledge that your presence transforms every waiting room into a holy place. I am often tempted to measure progress by movement, to equate silence with stagnation. But you are just as present in the pause as you are in the leap. The quiet spaces are not empty. They are sacred fields where trust takes root. When my plans slow or doors remain shut, help me see that you may be whispering something I could not hear in the wind of my striving. You are not distant. You are not passive. You are not unconcerned. You are here, fully, attentively, intimately present in every breath I take. Sometimes I look for you in the thunder, forgetting that you often come in the whisper. Sometimes I expect you in the miraculous, forgetting that you delight in the ordinary. So awaken my soul to recognize you not only in the answered prayer, but in the question. Not only in the sunlight, but in the shadows. Not only in the overflowing, but in the empty cup you promise to fill. Lord, there is something so steadying in knowing you are not just watching over me, you are with me, walking beside me, sitting with me in silence, carrying what I cannot lift, laughing in my joys and weeping in my sorrow. There is no part of my humanity that you refuse to enter. You are not ashamed of my weakness or shocked by my fear. You meet me as I am, and then gently shape me into who I am becoming. What love is this that makes room for all of me and calls none of it unworthy? Even the morning's stillness, I feel the competing voices rise, tasks that clamor for attention, fears that beg for control, doubts that demand answers. But you, Lord, offer no chaos. You do not shout. You extend peace, not as the world gives, but as only you can give, a peace that is not bound to circumstances, a peace that flows from your character, unchanging, unmoved, unwavering. And as I sit in your presence, I begin to remember who I am, because I remember whose I am. Let this day begin not with hurry, but with stillness, not with a checklist, but with a heart set on you. Let my first response to tension not be control, but surrender. Let my first breath be one of gratitude, not anxiety. You go before me into this day, shaping conversations I will have, protecting from dangers I will not even know existed, preparing encounters that will shape my soul in ways I won't realize until long after. I want to walk through today fully aware that I am not alone, not for one moment. God, Give me eyes to see your fingerprints on every detail. In the laugh of a stranger, in the rustling of leaves, in the silence between sentences. Help me not to overlook the ordinary by chasing the extraordinary. You dwell in both. The mundane is sacred when touched by you. Let no moment today pass without the invitation to pause and notice you. Every breath is a reminder that I am still held. Every sunrise is a declaration that you have not changed. There is safety here, not in the absence of struggle, but in the assurance of your presence. I can walk into unknown meetings, difficult conversations, unpredictable events with confidence, not because I am fearless, but because you are faithful. You promise to be with me, not just in theory, but in reality. You do not delegate care, you embody it. You are the shepherd who walks every step of the valley, never abandoning, never losing sight of the sheep you love. Lord, help me protect the quiet places within, the inner sanctuary where your voice is clearest. Let no distraction invade without permission. Let no lie take root without being exposed to your truth. Make me aware of what I feed my soul today. Let me not absorb fear as fact. Let me not mistake business for purpose. Let me not equate success with approval. Your presence is enough. It is not a supplement to my plans. It is the source of my peace. When I feel tempted to fix everything, remind me that you are already at work. When I feel the need to be everything for everyone, remind me that you are God and I am not. When I feel overwhelmed by choices, remind me that your wisdom is available to all who ask. Let me walk humbly in that truth, never presuming to control what only you can redeem. Keep me grounded in grace today. Let my actions reflect that I have spent time with you, not just that I have talked about you. Father, if I begin to drift today, call me back gently. If I get lost in the noise, guide me again to the still waters. If I forget who I am, whisper your truth with clarity that cuts through confusion. I do not ask to avoid all pain, but to be anchored in you through it. I do not ask to have all answers, but to trust you more deeply in the questions. I do not ask for ease, but for endurance, because with you, even the hardest places are holy ground. This is where I choose to dwell in the assurance of your nearness. No fear can unseat a heart that rests in your embrace. No doubt can derail a soul that listens for your voice. No pressure can crush the one who stands rooted in eternal love. I will not wait until everything is calm to find peace. I will find it now, in the middle of the noise, because peace is not the absence of problems, it is the presence of you. And you are here, Lord, as the echoes of my last thoughts still linger like a gentle breeze brushing across a quiet meadow. I continue to bring my soul before you with expectancy and awe. The night has not yet fully loosened its grip, but even in the soft hush before daybreak, I sense you drawing near unshaken, unmoved, unwavering. It comforts me deeply to know that while the world turns and seasons shift, your faithfulness remains untouched by time or turmoil. Father, you are not like shifting shadows or the fleeting winds that dance and disappear. Your promises are not written in dust, but etched in eternity. What you have spoken, you will fulfill. And so, I rest my trembling thoughts in the shelter of your steadfast love. allowing the weight of my anxieties to be absorbed into the immensity of your reliability. Each morning, I awaken to a world groaning with uncertainty, but I choose, deliberately, to open my eyes with faith rather than fear. I refuse to let the unknown rewrite the truth I already know, that you are good, that you are near, and that you do not change when everything else does. The sun may rise differently today. Clouds may crowd the skies. But you, Lord, are still the same one who whispered hope into me yesterday and called me beloved before I ever knew to whisper back. In the stillness of this hour, I surrender to the rhythm of your consistency. You are the God who watches over the sparrow's flight, who paints the fields with wildflowers, and yet you attend to the smallest ache inside my chest. Your faithfulness is not merely something you do, it is who you are. And when I am weak, unfaithful, distracted, or doubting, you are not altered by my shortcomings. You are the rock beneath my shifting ground. Let truth become marrow in my bones today. Let it guide how I speak, how I respond, how I wait, how I trust. In the noise of my schedule and the rush of obligations, help me anchor each moment in the knowledge that I am walking with the one who has never broken his word, not even once. God, I remember the days when I could not see beyond the storm in front of me. I was submerged in fear, gasping for hope. But even then, you held me. Even then, you led me through shadowed valleys and made the darkness tremble by the sound of your voice. I look back now and see that you did not remove every obstacle, but you gave me the strength to walk through them. And you walked with me. That is the kind of faithfulness I cling to now, not the absence of hardship, but the presence of your heart beside me. As I lift up the names of those I love, I ask you to saturate their lives with this same assurance. May they know you as the one who does not abandon, the one who carries through, the one who heals by simply being near. I pray for friends whose burdens have grown too heavy to carry alone. I pray for those who are doubting your goodness because their pain feels louder than your promises. Remind them gently, persistently, that you are not finished, that you are still working, still weaving, still walking with them through every dark hour. And for me, Lord, keep my eyes open to the daily wonders of your consistency. Help me not to miss the grace stitched into the ordinary, the breakfast I did not earn, the smile from a stranger, the unexpected moment of quiet in a chaotic day. Let each of these whispers of grace point back to the loud truth that I am held by a faithful God. In every waiting room, in every unanswered question, in every fragile prayer, let me find you not as an idea, but as a presence, one that fills the spaces I fear are empty, one that redeems even the broken pieces I do not know how to fix. And when my own faith falters, teach me not to hide in shame, but to run boldly into your unchanging love. Remind me that I am not saved by the strength of my belief, but by the strength of your character. You are not looking for perfection in me. You are simply asking for surrender. You are not impressed by my strength, but moved by my honesty. So here I am again, unfinished, unsure, but utterly yours. As the light continues to stretch across the sky, I stretch my heart toward you. I want to live this day not from a place of striving, but from a place of security. Help me make decisions rooted in peace, not panic. Help me speak from gentleness, not reaction. Help me show mercy even when it is not deserved, because I have been shown mercy beyond what I deserved. I ask you, Father, to guard my mind from the whispers that tell me you have forgotten, that you have moved on, that I am too messy to be held. Silence those voices with your truth. Let the echo of your promises be louder than the lies. When I am tempted to measure your presence by my circumstances, pull me back to what I know is eternal, that you are the same yesterday, today, and forever. Today, I want to measure success by how much I accomplish, but by how closely I stay in step with you, even if the tasks feel endless, even if interruptions come. Let me not forget that you walk with me in every moment. You are the God of sacred interruptions, of detours that lead to blessing, of stillness that produces growth. Thank you, Lord, for being the constant in my change, the calm in my storm, the promise in my waiting. And thank you for not giving up on me. Even when I give up on myself, I do not have to fear falling when you are the one holding me up. The sky is unfolding, and with it, so is this day. Whatever it may bring, let it find me grounded in you. May your faithfulness be the song my soul sings before I even speak a word aloud. May it be the lens through which I see every moment, every person, every challenge. Let me carry this awareness with quiet strength, not loud or boastful, but steady and secure. Because if you are with me, then I already have everything I need, and that truth will carry me not just through this morning, but through every morning to come. God, as my heart continues its gentle unfolding from the thoughts I held before, I find myself anchored in the stillness that your nearness brings. In the quiet that follows gratitude, I sense the breath of new trust, forming a trust not built on the outcomes I desire, but on the certainty of who you are. I no longer search desperately for signs, for I have begun to understand that even silence can be sacred when you are within it. Even the delays that once caused me unrest are becoming spaces where your timing writes a better story than my fears ever could. There is something profoundly tender about knowing you see all of me, not just the parts I present with confidence, but the fragile corners of my soul I still try to hide. You dwell there too, with no judgment, only love. In that realization, I find the courage to be fully present, to no longer rush through the hours looking for purpose in the distant future, but to receive the blessing wrapped inside this very breath. The ordinary becomes holy when I slow down enough to notice your fingerprints on the morning light, the rustle of leaves, and the rhythm of my own pulse. The burdens I once carried like iron armor begin to loosen as I remember that I am not meant to battle every weight alone. You do not ask me to be unshakable. You simply ask me to be held. And in that holding, I begin to see strength differently. It is not always bold or loud. Sometimes it whispers through a weary heart that still chooses to love, still dares to trust, still hopes against the grain of despair. That kind of strength only grows in the soil of surrender. And today I choose to plant myself there again. Even as my mind circles the unknowns that this day may bring, I ask you to anchor me deeper into the kind of faith that does not require understanding. Teach me to walk with the light I have, even when the path ahead is dim. Let each step be a prayer, not just of petition, but of presence, my awareness mingling with yours, shaping my thoughts, my words, and my responses. Help me see the people I meet today as sacred reflections of your heart, not interruptions to my plans, but invitations to grace. And if there are moments when I forget, when I fall back into the patterns of anxiety or control, would you gently call me back, not with rebuke, but with the soft reminder that I was never meant to carry the world on my shoulders. You are already in the places I fear, already working in the spaces I worry about. I do not need to strive for peace. I need only to return to the one who is peace. In every breath, in every pause, in every yes and every letting go, I come closer to the reality that I am not alone. Continue to shape me into someone who reflects your compassion, not just in acts of kindness, but in my inner posture. Let my first instinct be empathy, not judgment. Let my words be bridges, not walls. Let my presence offer comfort, not comparison. Where there is tension, may I bring calm. Where there is fear, may I carry courage. Where there is confusion, may I speak with gentleness rooted in wisdom beyond my own. For all of this, I rely on you. The more I journey inward, the more I realize that this sacred rhythm of prayer is not merely speaking to you, but listening for you in the quiet streams of thought, in the gentle nudges of conviction, in the joy that arises unexpectedly. And as I remain here a little longer, I no longer ask for the day to go smoothly, but for it to be meaningful. Let the interruptions be divine appointments. Let the detours become discoveries. Let the delays become reminders that your pace is more loving than my rush. God, as my thoughts continue to settle into the gentle rhythm of your peace, I find myself lingering in the quiet moments where your whisper speaks louder than any noise in the world. You have drawn me through the echoes of yesterday's confusions into this stillness. And now, I lean in closer, not to ask for more, but to understand more deeply what you have already given. In this breath, in this pause, I sense you drawing the curtains of distraction away, so that only your presence remains in full view. And I realize hearing you is not always about the volume of the voice, but about the surrender of the soul. Even now, Lord, you are teaching me to listen not just with ears, but with a spirit that waits without panic, that trusts without explanation, that hopes without demand. You are drawing my heart toward a deeper trust, not built on signs, but on stillness, not formed in certainty, but in closeness. I feel your spirit gently reminding me that peace is not the absence of trouble, but the evidence of your nearness within it. So I stop striving to make sense of everything and begin instead to sit with the mystery, knowing you are the one who holds it all. Father, I see how often I have rushed past moments where you were present, mistaking silence for absence. But now, you are unveiling the sacredness of quiet, showing me that in every gentle breeze, in every unnoticed pause, you are waiting to speak. You are not hidden. I was hurried, You were not distant. I was distracted. But here in this stillness, you reveal again that you never left, and all at once, I begin to hear the soft melody of your grace playing in the background of my day, like a song that was always there, but needed silence to be appreciated. The longer I stay in this space with you, the more I understand that your voice does not only direct, it restores. It does not just instruct, it heals. And sometimes, your greatest answers come not as solutions, but as presence. I bring you the places inside me that ache for clarity, and you offer me the comfort of being known. You do not always explain the path, but you always walk it with me. You do not always remove the thorns, but you never let me walk barefoot and alone. You equip me with grace for every hard step, and strength for every shadowed turn. Lord, it is in this intimate place that I discover how to live again, not in fear, not in frantic effort, but in faithful awareness. Your spirit brings a gentle conviction that leads, not shames. It exposes the things I need to surrender, not with a harsh rebuke, but with a holy invitation. And as I yield, I hear you more clearly. In the letting go, the noise fades. In the surrender, your whisper comes alive. In the relinquishing of control, your guidance becomes undeniable. I used to think hearing you meant receiving audible directions for every choice, but you are showing me it means carrying a constant awareness of you so real, so tender, that even without words, I know where you are leading. You are guiding me with peace that guards my heart, with a prompting that aligns with your word, and with a stillness that feels like home. I no longer chase signs when I can abide with your spirit. I no longer depend on open doors alone when I can discern the direction of your presence. Father, in this new awareness, I see how every moment is a chance to lean in. Every pause in my routine is an invitation to commune. I do not need to escape life to hear you. I need to bring life into your presence. I do not need to retreat into silence to find you. I need to welcome you into the noise until your peace becomes louder than all of it. In you, I learn how to carry sacred stillness into chaotic spaces. In you, I am reminded that discernment is not a gift reserved for a few, but a rhythm cultivated in any heart that longs to know you deeply. Even as the world presses forward with urgency, you are not rushed. And so, I refuse to be. I choose the pace of peace, the rhythm of grace, the alignment with heaven's tempo. You are not in the rush. You are in the reverence. You are not in the pressure. You are in the pause, and every time I return to this stillness, you meet me here, never condemning my wandering, always welcoming my return. God, there is no formula to this listening, only faithfulness. No magic to hearing, only maturity in trusting. You do not play hide and seek with your voice. You are always speaking, always drawing, always near. It is just that sometimes I forget how to tune my heart. So keep retuning me, Lord. Reset my focus, recenter my affections, realign my desires, until everything within me learns how to respond to even the faintest movement of your spirit. And when I am tempted to rely on my own wisdom, draw me back to dependence. When I want to push ahead in my own timing, Slow me down with your peace. When I want clarity more than closeness, remind me that intimacy with you is the greatest clarity of all. I do not want to just know what you want. I want to want what you know. I want to love what you love. I want to be so entwined with your spirit that your direction feels like second nature, because my heart is already yielded before you even speak. So here I remain unrushed, unworried, and in the presence of the one who knows me fully and still invites me deeper. Here I stay, not because I have nowhere to be, because there is nowhere else I would rather be than this awareness of you. Let my life become a quiet sanctuary where your voice is not just heard, but obeyed. Let every response I give be birthed from this place of stillness, where your word becomes my way and your whisper becomes my wisdom. Let it be so, not only in this morning hour, but in every unfolding moment that follows. Lord, as I remain in the stillness of this sacred hour, continue to trace the thread of grace that has carried me through each breath, each heartbeat, each sacred whisper of this unfolding morning. My soul leans in closer to you, drawing strength from the well of mercy you have provided long before I even knew I would thirst. The peace that flows from your presence is no longer a fleeting breeze, but a steady stream wrapping itself around the fragile corners of my mind, soothing every unrest, calming every hidden storm I sense. Deeper now, the invitation you extend not to strive, but to yield, not to perform, but to abide. You have shown me that your wisdom is not loud or forceful, but quiet and persistent. Like the way morning light gradually unveils the contours of the earth, you do not demand. You draw. You do not coerce. You invite, and I come, Lord, not with achievement, but with longing, not with a parade of accomplishments, but with open, trembling hands that have released what they once clung to in desperation. You are my portion, not what you give, but you, yourself. So I ask, as this day continues to stretch its limbs across the sky, that you help me walk gently through its moments. Let me not miss the soft lessons hidden within routine tasks. Teach me to pause when someone speaks, to really hear them with the ears of grace. Let my responses be drenched in patience, not pride. Let my words be few but full, flavored with truth but carried by love. Remind me that every soul I meet is bearing a weight I may not see, and so I ask for the ability to carry kindness like a lantern subtle, but enough to help them find their footing again. God, I feel how fragile I am, and strangely, that does not scare me anymore. My fragility has become a doorway through which your power walks in undisturbed. I no longer ask to be made strong in the way the world defines it, but instead, to be made empty enough that there is room for you in every chamber of my being. Let my joy come not from circumstances, but from the simple miracle that you are near. Let peace rise not because the chaos outside is silenced, because the chaos within has bowed to your sovereignty. In those moments when I am tempted to believe I am alone, anchor me again in the truth that you are not only beside me, but within me, whispering courage in my bones, breathing life into my spirit. Remind me that I was never meant to hold everything together, only to trust the one who does. So I surrender not in defeat, but in divine trust. I yield my timelines, my outcomes, my metrics of success. And in that surrender, I feel something unexplainably holy rise, hope that does not hinge on results, but on relationship. Lord, let my feet follow the rhythm of heaven today. Let my pace be unhurried. Let my eyes be uncluttered. Let my hands be available. I do not want to be so busy doing good things that I miss the God things you are placing in my path. Teach me how to say yes to what matters and no to what merely distracts. Peel away the layers of noise that numb me and sharpen my spirit to detect your gentle nudge in the smallest moments. In the quiet spaces between tasks, help me remember who I am, not based on title or to-do lists, but based on the identity you have sealed in love. When I grow weary, let it not be from running after approval, but from pouring myself into purposes that align with your heart. When I feel empty, let it not be because I have scattered my soul for applause, but because I have given my love away freely and fully, as you have given to me. And should this day bring tears, may they not drown me, but water seeds of compassion within me. Should it bring laughter, may it echo with gratitude rather than pride. Let me not be defined by how others treat me, but by how I respond in the spirit you have placed in me. Even in irritation or inconvenience, remind me that every response is a chance to reflect the kindness you so patiently show to me. I do not ask for an easy day, but for a meaningful one. I do not ask for comfort, but for character. I do not ask for favor in the eyes of people, but for faithfulness in the hidden places where no one but you sees. Help me treasure the unseen, the unnoticed, the humble acts of service that align my heart with yours. So as the light grows stronger and the sounds of the world rise into their daily rhythm, let my soul remain tuned to different melody, the melody of your presence, steady and unwavering, drawing me deeper, inviting me to live not just for you, but with you, in every sacred second that follows. Father, as the moments of this morning deepen and settle around me, I continue to rest in the quiet stream of your presence, where clarity begins to unfold and peace takes root beyond understanding. The journey of surrender from earlier lingers like a soft echo in my spirit, reminding me that each breath offered in trust is a seed sown in divine soil. You are not only the one who receives my yielding, but the one who cultivates it with tenderness, turning weakness into wonder and silence into strength. It amazes me how near you remain, even when I am distracted, even when my thoughts wander like scattered leaves in the wind. You do not leave when my mind falters or when my heart forgets the direction home. Instead, you stay, like a gentle shepherd whose voice calls my soul back again and again, never in anger, always in love. I want to listen better today, not just to the voices around me, but to the voice within that gently reminds me of who I am and whose I am. Help me to carry this listening posture into every conversation, every interruption, every unexpected twist. Let me not be so focused on what I am doing that I miss what you are saying. Let me be quick to notice the small ways you show up, a word from a friend, a quiet moment in the middle of noise, a glimpse of beauty that feels too specific to be random. Teach me to recognize those moments as whispers from heaven, lovingly placed along my path to guide, comfort, or awaken. God, I realize now more than ever that your voice often arrives not with volume, but with stillness. It does not shout above the noise, but invites me beneath it, into the space where truth lives undisturbed. And so, I quiet myself again, not because I have to, because I want to dwell where you dwell. Let my attention be anchored in you, not tossed by urgency or pressured by perfection. Help me believe that the most powerful things often happen in hidden, humble places. There is a sacred rhythm you are teaching me, one that does not rush but rests, that does not demand but discerns. I no longer want to be governed by the fear of falling behind or not measuring up. I want to walk at the pace of grace. Teach me to flow with the timing of your spirit, knowing that delays are not denials, and detours are not disasters when my eyes are fixed on you. Remind me that you are not confined by my schedule, and your blessings are never late, they are perfectly timed. And when disappointment tries to whisper that you have forgotten me, silence that lie with the deeper truth of your faithfulness. When comparison tempts me to measure my worth by someone else's journey, gently draw me back to the beauty of my own. Let me not envy another's fruit when I do not know the root. Teach me to bless others sincerely, and knowing that in the kingdom, their success is not my loss. We are all branches of the same vine. I pray also for the courage to be misunderstood when obedience leads me into quiet or unseen places. Let me not fear the silence of others when you have spoken clearly. Let me trust that even when the path feels lonely, I am never alone. Help me keep my eyes on the one who walks ahead, even when I do not know what is around the bend. I want my faith to be built not on what I see, but on who you are, unchanging, unwavering, always enough. Lord, help me today to bless without hesitation, to give without calculating what I will get in return, to forgive before bitterness takes root. Let love be my reflex and not just my resolve. Let my joy come not from outcomes, but from obedience. Let my strength be found not in controlling things, but in releasing them into your capable hands. And should I grow weary under the weight of caring for others, remind me that I do not carry their burdens alone. You are the lifter of my head, the restorer of my soul, the one who never tires of hearing my voice or holding my tears. You have never once turned away from me, and you never will. Let truth shape my confidence and soften my heart toward those who are hurting. Make me aware of divine appointments today, the moments I would overlook if I were only focused on tasks. Let me see the person behind the problem, the heart behind the complaint, the pain beneath the anger. Give me grace to respond, not react, to serve, not defend, to listen with empathy, not just ears. I want to be your vessel, not just in grand gestures, but in the quiet, unseen offerings that only you notice. And when the sun begins its descent, and I look back over the day, I pray I will see more than a list of completed tasks. I pray I will see traces of eternity woven into the ordinary. I pray I will feel the nearness of your hand and in the laughter I shared, the tears I wiped, the quiet moments I honored. Let me not rush through this life seeking milestones, but walk it slowly, letting your presence sanctify each moment. I want to live aware. I want to love deeply. I want to listen closely. I want to walk humbly. I want to speak gently. I want to forgive quickly. I want to believe fully. And I know, Lord, that none of this is possible apart from you. So I remain here, heart open, spirit yielded, hands ready not to grasp, but to receive whatever you pour into this day. Lord, as the quietness of the early hour wraps around me, I breathe in the stillness that carries your presence. The whisper of dawn echoes the softness of your mercy, and my soul leans into the rhythm of grace you composed before I ever drew breath. Following the stream of my thoughts from the last moments spent with you, I find myself resting in the truth that you are both the beginning and the holding center of all things I hope for. I do not need to conjure strength from within, because you are the source of strength itself. The weight I carry is not mine to bear alone, and in this knowledge, I find the courage to place it again into your open hands. Each new breath is a gift you have chosen to give, and I want to honor it, not just with words, but with the quiet choices of this day, how I respond to tension, how I speak to the ones I love, how I treat those who feel forgotten. I want to reflect your light not in grand acts, but in the steady consistency of grace. When I am faced with misunderstanding, let compassion be my reply. When I feel unseen or dismissed, let gentleness be my armor. I trust that even in the silence, you are still speaking, shaping me in ways I may not yet understand. And that is enough for now. There is something sacred about admitting I cannot see the full picture. In a world that rewards certainty and control, you invite me into the richness of surrender. You are not asking me to have the answers, only to remain open to your guidance. So I quiet the noise within the fear of falling behind, the pressure to perform, the comparison that steals joy, and I let you rewrite the narrative. I too often forget that I am loved without condition and held without shame. Nothing I do today will make you love me more, and nothing I fail to do will make you love me less. What freedom I find in that truth. I am grateful for the moments I once resented. For now I see how you were near in each of them. The delays that taught me patience, the endings that revealed new beginnings, the closed doors that gently steered me towards something truer. It is easier to see it now. But even when I could not, you were still working in the shadows, still drawing beauty from what felt like ruin. Remind me again, Lord, when I forget, when I start striving instead of trusting, when I chase perfection instead of peace. Let my words be soaked in kindness. Let my presence feel like home to those who cross my path. If my day unfolds without recognition or praise, let me still offer it to you with joy. If I am misunderstood, let me be patient, not defensive. If things do not go as planned, let me lean into the mystery rather than spiral into control. There is a strength that rises not from force, but from quiet confidence in your faithfulness. And I want to live from that place. Today is not just another page on a calendar, it is sacred space. The people I meet, the interruptions I endure, the decisions I make, they are opportunities to choose love again and again. I pray for the courage to stay awake to what matters, even when I am tired, to keep my heart soft in a world that hardens easily, to forgive quickly and release resentment before it takes root. These small choices shape who I am becoming, and I long to become more like you. When I feel hurried, slow me down with a reminder of what cannot be rushed: healing, growth, wisdom. When I feel discouraged, lift my eyes to the evidence of your goodness already present. When I feel afraid, remind me that I am never alone. You have walked every road before me, and you will walk this one too. There is nothing ahead that you have not already prepared me for, and nothing behind that you cannot redeem. My past does not disqualify me from your love. It invites me deeper into it. So I place this day in your hands once more, not as an offering of perfection, but as a declaration of trust. I will likely get some things wrong. I may fall short, but I will also rise. Try again. Forgive and be forgiven. That is the rhythm of grace, and I choose to live in its steady beat. I choose to believe that you are near, even when I feel distant. I choose to believe that what I offer, though simple, can still carry eternal weight when given with love. And so I go forward, not alone, not empty, filled with a quiet knowing that the one who created the sunrise is also holding my day. The one who paints the sky with light has also lit a flame in my soul that no darkness can extinguish. In that light, I take my next step. In that peace, I rest my thoughts. In that love, I find my home, God. As I move from the gentle whisper of stillness into the unfolding light of this moment, I carry with me the quiet assurance that you are already present, already moving, already making a way. The peace that settled upon me in the last breath of reflection becomes the river I now walk beside, its current drawing me forward in trust. I sense your guidance not only as a thought, but as the very rhythm of this morning, pulsing beneath each decision, each heartbeat, each breath. And in this flow, I lean not on my own understanding, but on the wisdom that you gently offer without demand or force. Only invitation. I do not need to force the day into shape when I can follow the contours you have already begun to sketch in grace. In this stillness that breathes beneath the surface of each task, I listen for your subtle voice, not in thunder, but in the silence between. I find you not in the noise, but in the restraint, not in the chaos, but in the patient unfolding. You speak to me in the way a flower opens without effort, or the tide returns without fanfare. Teach me to move like this steadily, sincerely. Surrendered, let my spirit be like a leaf, drifting not aimlessly, but carried by a current I can trust. When I seek control, remind me that trust is not weakness, but the quiet strength of one who believes you are already working all things for good. So I take this hour not to run ahead, but to be still in motion, to walk with awareness, to choose words with intention, to speak kindness without rehearsing it. Let your patience temper my reactions, and let compassion steady my tone. Let me see interruptions not as setbacks, but as sacred pauses, in which I can practice gentleness instead of frustration, presence instead of hurry. Let me not just exist through this day, but fully live it, heart open, hands willing, eyes searching for the beauty that your love has tucked into ordinary things. When I grow tired, when the minutes stretch long and demands stack high, let me return to this stillness, not as retreat but as renewal. Let me close my eyes, even in a crowded room, and breathe the breath that anchors me back into you. Let this breath be a prayer without words, a bridge that brings me back to center, to peace, to alignment. Remind me that I am not required to perform to earn your love or achieve to secure your presence. You are not behind a finish line. I do not run to you. I run with you. Each step I take becomes holy when it is walked with awareness of you. And when I feel invisible or forgotten by the world, remind me that you see every thought I carry, every care I attempt to conceal. There is no part of me too small for your notice or too messy for your mercy. Let that comfort be enough. Let it be my refuge when approval fades, when no one claps for what I carry. You are the one who celebrates even my unseen endurance. You are the one who calls me by name even when I forget who I am in the noise. Let your voice be louder than the criticism in my mind, clearer than the fear that tries to find its home in my heart. This morning, help me walk in the simplicity of being yours. Strip away what is not necessary. Dismantle the pride that dresses up imperfection. Remove the pressure to be more, to do more, to prove more. Let me simply be loved, known, accepted. Let that be my grounding truth. Let me greet each face I encounter not with pretense, but with presence. Let me not miss the miracle of now by worrying about the later. In every conversation, let there be empathy. In every decision, let there be integrity. In every silence, let there be peace. If conflict arises, grant me grace before defense. If correction is needed, help me to receive it without bitterness. If I must speak truth, help me speak it with humility, not with pride or condescension. Let my words be soaked in love before they ever form on my tongue. Let me not win arguments but win hearts. And when I must be silent, help me know that silence, too, can be a sacred act of trust. You do not need my voice in every room. Sometimes you call me to simply listen. Lead me to see what is hidden behind someone's mask, the grief behind their anger, the fear beneath their coldness, the wounds that shape their choices. Let me respond not to their surface, but to their soul. And when I am the one with the wounds, let me not be ashamed of my need. Let me not pretend to be whole when I am breaking. Let this be a day where healing begins simply because I dared to be honest with you, dared to stop hiding my pain behind productivity. Let laughter return where there has been silence. Let wonder awaken where cynicism had grown. Let courage rise where anxiety had settled. Let me begin again not because I must, but because I may. Each morning you hand me a new canvas. Each hour, a fresh invitation. Even when the world rushes past, you never push me to catch up. You wait, you walk beside. You whisper, I am here. And suddenly, that is enough. So I step into this day, not carrying the weight of yesterday or the fear of tomorrow, but the quiet confidence of now. My hands are open. My spirit is awake. My heart is being shaped even in the stillness. You are not finished with me. And that alone is enough reason to breathe, to rise, to hope again. Let this day be my offering. Let my life be my response. Let every small act be worship, every breath a return to you. Lord, as the day now reaches its quiet unveiling, I stand still before you in the hush of early light. The winds of the night have carried my thoughts like petals across the garden of trust, and each moment has brought me closer to the place where stillness meets surrender. My soul leans in to listen not for loud answers, but for the gentle reassurance that you are here and always have been. The silence is not empty. It is filled with the echo of your presence. I carry no demand, no weight of explanation, only a heart that has learned to wait without rushing. You have trained my spirit to breathe in rhythms beyond my own understanding. In this sacred breath, I am learning that peace is not the absence of questions, but the confidence that even without answers, I am held. Father, your ways are like paths through the forest where light and shadow dance together. You do not lead me through life by removing the unknown, but by teaching me how to walk even when I cannot see more than one step ahead. And that one step anchored in faith is enough. You have shown me that progress is not always forward, that sometimes pausing is holy, and sometimes retreating is renewal. In these final moments of this sacred reflection, I feel the pulse of gratitude move gently through me. Thank you for the tender mercies that go unnoticed, for the unseen rescues, for the invisible shielding, and for the whispers I nearly missed. Thank you for not growing tired of my questions, and for being patient with the many ways I still stumble into my old fears. God, your love has never asked me to be perfect, only present. You do not require performance, only participation. Even when I feel small and uncertain, you invite me closer, not to impress you, but to know you. That invitation is the greatest gift I could ever receive. And even now, as this chapter draws near its quiet close, I sense that I am not finishing, but beginning again, beginning with deeper clarity, renewed gentleness, and a firmer anchoring in your unfailing kindness. The lessons of these prayers will echo long after the words fade. You have taught me that what matters most is not how loudly I speak, but how deeply I listen. Not how far I travel, but how sincerely I pause. Not how much I accomplish, but how openly I trust. The strength I once chased in outward signs, I now find in the quiet assurance of your presence beside me. In me, around me. Lord, thank you for every sunrise that reminds me grace is always fresh, never leftover. Thank you for every moment when my eyes open to your beauty in something small, a passing breeze, a warm smile, a single moment of peace that felt eternal. These are the moments where heaven meets earth in silence. To those who have traveled this prayer journey with me, thank you for staying. Your heart, your listening, your hope, they matter. Your presence in this space has helped shape something holy. I invite you now to pause, breathe, and share what moved within you. Let your words become part of this unfolding stream of faith. Your voice belongs here, and if this sacred rhythm spoke to you, let it carry onward. Subscribe to this space of light, Share it with those who need a gentle word. Let us continue together, holding fast to the truth that even in our quietest moments, heaven is not far. Let this final breath of the prayer settle like morning mist upon still waters, and may its essence rise with the dawn soft, steady, and alive with the promise of new mercies, like sunlight spilling through open windows.